You know that feeling when you scroll through a dozen product pages, each one promising a crystal clear picture, buttery smooth touch, and a price that looks like a bargain only to have the unit sit on your desk gathering dust because it just doesn't click with the way you imagined? I've been there, and it's why I'm taking a few minutes to walk through the NEC M551 IR MULTISYNC with its built-in infrared touchscreen. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. My goal is to help you decide if this 55-inch interactive display is the right fit before you add another big-ticket item to the cart. First off, let's talk about what makes the M551 IR different from the generic large screen you might be eyeing. This isn't a simple TV you throw on a wall. It's a purpose-built interactive panel that combines NEC's MULTISYNC technology with a full-size infrared touch surface. The IR part means you can use any kind of stylus or even a gloved hand, which is a subtle but important point for environments like classrooms, design studios, or meeting rooms where people aren't always bare fingers. The screen size itself, 55 inches, places it in the sweet spot between a whiteboard and a conference room display, giving you enough real estate to spread out spreadsheets, annotate PDFs, or run a collaborative brainstorming session without feeling cramped. Now, who actually benefits from this kind of hardware? If you're a teacher who wants to turn a standard lesson into an interactive experience, the M551 IR's touch latency feels natural enough that you can write equations or highlight text in real time without lag. In my research, I found a lot of schools opting for infrared panels because the technology tolerates sunlight and the occasional spill better than optical or capacitive touch screens. For a design team that needs to sketch ideas together, the ability to use a cheap, passive stylus means you don't have to invest in a proprietary pen set. And for corporate meeting rooms, the built-in touch makes screen sharing feel more like a group whiteboard than a passive slideshow. On the flip side, if you're a solo gamer or someone looking for a home theater upgrade, you'll probably be disappointed. The panel's refresh rate is tuned for office and educational content, not the high frame rate demands of modern gaming. Also, the built-in speakers are adequate for a conference call, but won't replace a dedicated sound system for movies. In short, the M551 IR shines when you need collaborative interaction, and it falls short when you're after pure entertainment performance. One practical strength that showed up repeatedly in user discussions is the ease of installation. The unit comes with a VESA-compatible mount and a set of cable management clips, so you can bolt it to a wall or a rolling cart in under an hour. The on-screen menu walks you through the initial calibration, and because it's a NEC product, the firmware updates are handled automatically when you connect it to the internet. That means you spend less time fiddling with drivers and more time actually using the screen. Another strength is the color accuracy out of the box. NEC markets the MULTISYNC line as true to life, and the M551 IR lives up to that claim for the kind of work it's meant for: presentations, diagrams, and document review. The panel supports 1080p input, and while it isn't a 4K display, the pixel density is sufficient for detailed architectural plans or high-resolution spreadsheets when viewed from a typical conference room distance. However, there are some trade-offs you need to be aware of. The infrared touch layer adds a tiny amount of thickness to the panel, which can be a nuisance if you're trying to mount it on a shallow bracket. Also, because it relies on infrared beams projected across the surface, very bright ambient lighting can sometimes cause false touches at the edges. In a dimmed classroom or a conference room with controlled lighting, this isn't an issue, but in a bright lobby the experience can feel a bit jittery. I've seen a few buyers note that they had to add a light blocking curtain to keep the panel's touch reliability consistent. Another practical consideration is the price point. This isn't a cheap 55-inch TV. You're paying for the infrared layer, the MULTISYNC processing, and the durability that NEC builds into its commercial line. If you're a small startup with a tight budget, you might find a regular monitor and an external touch overlay to be a cheaper, albeit less integrated, solution. The M551 IR does, however, bundle the touch component, the mount, and the warranty into a single package, which can simplify procurement for larger organizations that want a single point of contact. Speaking of warranty, NEC typically offers a 3-year limited warranty on these panels, covering both the display and the touch functionality. That's a solid safety net for a product that will see heavy daily use. especially in educational settings where the device might get knocked or bumped. It's also worth noting that the panel's serviceability is decent. You can replace the backlight module without sending the whole unit back to the factory, which saves downtime in a busy office.